story this hour is the national education policy and the opposition to it. In fact, 3 states have voiced their opposition to the national education policy. Education ministers of Tamil Nadu and Kerala have, backed by Maharashtra Minister Jitendra Awad, have hit out at the education policy. This was at a national convention organized by the All India Students Federation. They said that it would lead to the exclusion of a vast majority of students and a huge number of dropouts. At Madras University's 164th convocation, Tamil Nadu Education Minister K. Ponmudi also opposed NEET and CUET, saying that they will only lead to mushrooming of coaching centers.
We are one, even though we have diversity. The language of Maharashtra might be different, the language of Gujarat might be different, the language of Arunachal might be different, the language of Kerala might be different. But we are Indians at heart. This compulsion which is being brought by the new policies is something which hurts our heart. And we are Dravidians, and we accept it as a fact that we are Dravidians. The languages spoken in the north cannot be compared in the south. That policy should be very clear in the heart of everybody who calls himself an Indian. You cannot force anybody.
Well, I'm joined by Abhishek and Dharini. Abhishek from Mumbai and Dharini joining me from Chennai. In fact, Dharini, let me first come to you. Take us through what the concerns are that have been raised by the Tamil Nadu minister. Of course, we're seeing both the ministers, both the opposition parties, in fact, opposition ruled states, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, have been on, a sour point with the centre, one after another, over a slew of issues, whether it is language row or education. Tamil Nadu has always been on the front foot trying to oppose the centre. So what exactly are the concerns that have been raised by the Tamil Nadu minister?
At a convention organized by All India Students Federation, Tamil Nadu Higher Education Minister Ponmudi has told that National Education Policy 2020 will only lead to increased dropout rate at school and college levels. So he has told that this NEP 2020 will not help or endorse increased enrollment of students, but it will as the opposite will increase the dropout ratio of students at school and college levels. And even today at an event at Madras University here in Chennai, Higher Education Minister Ponmudi, he told that entrance examinations such as NEET and CUET, they will only lead to mushrooming of coaching institutes across the country. So this particular statement, this has been stated so many times by both the Higher Education Minister and Chief Minister himself. They are consistently telling that entrance examination that's like NEET and CUET, they will only lead to mushrooming of coaching institutes across India, and they will not help the downtrodden people to get into good colleges. So the Higher Education Minister, he also stated that as a Dravidian model of education, they want the students of Tamil Nadu to get enrolled into colleges only based on 12th marks. So until this entrance examination came, Tamil Nadu students, they were getting admission into colleges based on +2 marks. They had counselling and all that. So the minister, he told that should be continued, and entrance examinations such as NEET and CUET should be withdrawn. So as far as NEP, CUET and NEET are concerned, the state of Tamil Nadu has been consistently expressing its discontent towards all these initiatives by the government. Whenever the Higher Education Minister and the School Education Minister, they get a chance to talk about these topics, they've been consistently stressing their opposition towards these exams. In fact, Tamil Nadu government, as we already know, had passed a bill at the assembly in opposition against NEET examination, and that bill is currently with the Union Home Ministry to be forwarded for presidential approval. So the Tamil Nadu government, they want all the 3 things: the NEP, National Education Policy, NEET and CUET entrance examinations to be withdrawn. They are telling that only withdrawal of these 3 things will benefit the people of not only Tamil Nadu but other states too.
All right, Dharini, thank you so much for joining us with those details. It's the opposition to the national education policy. Abhishek is still with me. Abhishek, we did see Dharini speak of the various concerns that have been raised by the Tamil Nadu minister. Now, of course, in the past, we've also seen that Tamil Nadu has had several controversies and several flashpoints when it comes to the center, be it language, be it education, be it NEET or even the CUET. But in Maharashtra, what is the story? Is the Maharashtra minister raising similar concerns genuinely, or is it just to back opposition rule states and join the chorus in order to hit out at the center? What's the situation in Maharashtra? Have they had a word with educational institutions? Have they had a word with the students? How have they managed to figure out that or how are they saying that the national education policy will sort of be biased to many students in the state?
Yes, definitely. We can also say that this is a new flashpoint between center versus state when it comes to criticizing the policy of central government. And now Maharashtra Housing Minister, the Cabinet Minister Jitendra Awad, has clearly hit out at the center, telling that national education policy is national expulsion policy. Expulsion policy when it comes to, he is directly relating, because this policy has been made, as he claims, for the elite group, because the downtrodden student, the poor student are neglected to it, and it is directly infringing to the rights of the state, because it is to be clearly said, the state should be given free hand to make educational policies. Now, as far as the NEET is concerned, definitely NEET is not making much noise in Maharashtra, because students are applying for NEET and doing it. But at the same time, CUET, imagine a student who is graduated and who wants to apply for in a central university. He has to give CUET, but at the same time, the same student can avail a seat in Mumbai University and rest of the university in Maharashtra with just by a merit list. So definitely, at certain point of time, when it comes to CUET, there are clashes out here, and the national education policy, which the minister clearly hit out and says that this is where the students of backward classes will be neglected. And as we heard, the entire convention by the Student Federation, which was carried out, they had come out with a resolution that this policy should be scrapped, and the NEET and the CUET should be rolled back, and at the same time, the entire education policy should be given to the state government to decide. Because when we say when it is unity in diversity in India, there are several other languages as the state, we move from one state to other, the languages differ. But having a centralized national education policy will definitely make a difference. So you see again a flashpoint arising when it comes to center versus state on national education policy when it comes to Maharashtra.
That's right, Abhishek. In fact, it's not just Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. Remember, Kerala has joined the chorus too. In fact, if I could just quote the Kerala education minister saying that NEP favors commercialization, communalization and elitism. He also goes on to say that exclusion is a central feature of NEP. Those excluded will not have complete education, and policy will affect the marginalized and favor the elite. So this is what Kerala education minister has to say. She's also sort of hit out at the center over the national education policy. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us with all those details.